Hola, amigos. This week we're talking with J.D. Harper, a flow rider, living author, Army veteran, and travel pro with dozens of cruises under his belt with a lot of international travel experience. His Romantic Seas Serenades book series is a must-read if you're into steamy romance stories and cruising, or even if you're not and want to try something new. A link to his website is in the details of this episode. Welcome, and thanks for tuning in.
Welcome into welcome you. Another podcast this week. Let's talk to J.D. Harper. Take a journey with us to island time. Get onto the ship, it's island time. Another podcast with Jason Kucera.
Besides that, welcome in to another podcast. Another
So
one.
on that note,
Here we are.
Yes, freaking here we are.
Welcome in, J.D. Harper of the Way of Florida. Not supposed to tell people where you live.
I've been
I don't
waiting
tell people
for
where you
to
live, though.
Well, I'm in Florida.
Interview you?
I'm allowed to be in Florida.
Yeah, at the port.
No, not at the port. Not today.
No. Yeah. That's all right. So, what's going on? Your last cruise was on that ship right there? Is that accurate?
My last cruise, was on the Scarlet Lady. This is from an earlier
Her sister.
cruise. Yes, her sister.
Do they look
She's
alike?
brilliant, by the way. She's brilliant, though.
Well, that's a good trait to have.
Yes.
How are those ships comparing? Virgin Voyages, Brilliant Lady, and the Scarlet Lady. Are they twins?
They're not twins, but they're definitely sisters.
Okay.
So
They're just
Scarlet
not identical
Lady,
twins.
Scarlet is definitely the big sister.
Oh.
Like the older sister, like she's been there, she's done that. Brilliant is the baby sister.
She pushes her weight around a little bit. Just like
a little bit, and sometimes that's okay.
Yeah.
Especially in some of the shows that she's got going on right now.
So JD's an avid cruiser. Got me into cruising.
I am.
Took me a long time to finally do it, and I did, and I love it.
And I want to interview you about your cruising experience. Since I got you there.
True.
That's what we really need to be talking about is how did your cruises go? And why you are so grateful that I turned you on to this very expensive hobby.
You know what, though? You get so much out of it, and while it's short-lived, the bang for the buck, it's there. Like, it's there, man. I just booked another trip to Disney World, and I was like, you know what? We probably won't go to Disney World for a couple of years because we did Disney cruises. And I'm like, why would I want to pay to go stand in lines when I can pay to not stand in lines and still almost get the same experience? You're not riding rides or whatever, but it's still the Disney experience. It's the food quality. It's the shows. It can be a little busy here and there, but you're still, you just navigate around. It's easy. Or you can go back to your cabin and chill out. You can sit on your veranda and stare at the ocean while you're drinking coffee. And I don't know, man. I haven't figured out if I've had a better experience in life besides that at this point of just going across the Bahamas or through the Gulf of Mexico and just sitting there like looking at the water, dude. And it's so serene and it's so hard to explain to people until they do it. You're just like, wow. And because you were right. And I know you told me before, you're like, once you do it, you're gonna be hooked. And you nailed it because it was like, I don't even think it was 2 months later when we went on our second one. And
it was rapid. You went on 2 in the time that it took me to do 2.
Yeah, and you're right there. You're so much, and that's the thing too is like Galveston for me is about as far away as you are to like PC, and like it's, which is very nice, but that Port Canaveral port and around is, it's pretty nice, man. I mean, Galveston's come up like at the same time it's hard to compare. It really is. And I almost feel bad. I'm like, they're really trying to plus up Galveston, get, I mean, Symphony of the Seas is now here from Royal. Allure of the Seas left. So that's big, right? But I'm like, I know the traffic going in there. I know how 45 is a nightmare. And to me, it's almost worth driving like 2 days to sell out of Florida instead of 45 minutes away. We'll do it again, 100%. But I'm just like, there's a real big difference, Mm-hmm. The garage is at Port Canaveral. Like, I don't know what it was. I think for the 5 days.
They have to fit like 5 different cruises worth of passengers into those garages.
And they're cheap. They're like, for what you're getting, like a nice garage and secure. They're cheap. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know in Galveston they're like twice as much and nowhere near as nice. And half of them are parking lots outside that you're paying like $25, $30 a day at least, something like that. And I think that's insane, man. So they got to really, if they ever want to get there, they have a long way to go, but they've been doing it, Port Canaveral in Florida, Miami, Tampa for a long time, right? So they kind of have the formula down. But yeah,
and don't forget Jacksonville or Mobile, Alabama is like right across the street from Florida. So
yeah, and that's one I didn't even think about either. Is like, I mean, you might catch a cheap Carnival, I guess, out of Mobile. I don't know what else sells out of there, but there's, I mean, New Orleans even has, I guess Carnival, and I don't know what else sells out of there either. But pretty rare. I don't know, itineraries that you might like grab, but it was nice, and it was nice going through the Bahamas too.
The itineraries that you get out of Mobile or New Orleans are going to be the same ones you get out of Galveston.
Just going to Cozumel and
Galveston is a larger cruise port than those other two, but they tend to sail to the same spots.
And Galveston is going to get their LNG pipeline completed into the port, which is going to plus them up too to get and that's when Icon is coming next year. And maybe we'll get a year-round Disney ship. I'm surprised just because the demand's there for sure. There are people on our Magic selling in January from Canada, from Europe, people that came a long way to sell on the Magic. And I thought, well, I'll be damned. Like, that's cool though, it's like, I felt I could understand that in Florida because you can do a trip to Disney World, you can do the Orlando thing and then do a cruise before or after, maybe both. But going all the way to Houston and Galveston to go on the Disney Magic, I felt surprised. I just figured that was more of a Texas, Louisiana regional kind of thing, but that's pretty good demand. So it's almost surprising we don't have something parked there year round. But they like sending the Magic up there to Alaska, and cool. Like,
I would love to do an Alaska. That is on my bucket list still. Alaska.
I would too. I want the one out of like San Francisco or Seattle. I don't want to have to deal with like flying into Vancouver and doing that issue with customs and everything. Not that it's terribly hard, but it just like that's an extra step to me. Like I'd rather. But I did see that the cruises from those cities, the American cities, are more expensive than sailing out of Vancouver. So I'm assuming the port fees and taxes are higher, and it's, there might be comparable depending on the cruise line, right?
Mm-hmm. I will say, speaking of Virgin, Brilliant Lady is getting ready to embark on Virgin Voyage's first ever summer season in Alaska here in a couple weeks. So
right on. And still adults only, I assume?
Still adults only. That's not going to change, which is good. I appreciate the adults only. I know you got the kid, but, going on one without any kids at all is a different experience.
It's like going to the parks without a kid. It's just different, and a little simpler. And that would be one thing I would, I'd like to experience is going on a cruise ship where it's not so kid-centric like a Disney cruise ship is. Because I don't care what anyone says, but a random screaming child is really frustrating no matter who you are. And so sometimes, just walking down the hallway, hey, there's Mickey.
And where you're not where you're not going to get a random screaming child.
Virgin Voyages.
Not
Yeah.
not that I'm trying to pimp the cruise line or anything or nothing. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, and maybe it's a good time to mention too that like we're both travel agents with Wanderkeep Travel, and so if you want to book a cruise with Virgin or Royal Caribbean, and particularly out of Florida and whatnot, JD's probably the guy to talk to. If you want to book for the Disney Magic, like three months out of the year, or either or. But yeah,
we're still trying to build your repertoire. Let you grow and experience more of the cruise line, so that way you can say, yes, I definitively love Virgin Cruises because I don't have to deal with kids.
Yeah, it's doing just Disney Cruise Line so far. I'm a little skewed, of course, but so because it gets me wondering. I'm like, of course they're more expensive, and you're like get the Disney quality and whatnot. But if I go on Royal Caribbean and I went on like Symphony of the Seas, am I going to have that level of service? And I don't want to call it ass kissing, but it's like when you go to the restaurants on a Disney Cruise Line, right? And you do rotational dining. For those that don't know, you have the same servers at every restaurant, and every night you're going to go through a different restaurant. But those servers get to know you. They know your name. You see them somewhere else, they know your name, and they remember your diet restrictions, the things that you might like more than something else. And like Hunter fell in love with the sugar straws on the Wish, and normally it would come with one drink or whatever. Our waiter walked up, pulled 4 out of his pocket, and he's like, "Here you go," just automatically. And it's like, and all that's included, of course, in the cost of your cruise. So that's really attractive, And so I'll think to myself, am I going to get that level of service on Royal or Carnival? But also, do I need that level of service? Is it necessary? I don't know. Probably not. Did I screw myself going on Disney first?
It depends on how much you're willing to pay.
Yeah.
Because you can get even better quality service than you're getting on Disney right now. On, say, Windstar Cruises or, Regent Seven Seas.
Yeah.
Those are going to cost you even more.
Yeah.
On a Carnival cruise, it gets a bad rap because of public image and stuff like that. But honestly, the level of service is not that drastic of a drop-off. You're still getting really good service. You don't have rotational dining on Carnival, but your waiter will know who you are by the second night. You will still have some of those small things that come with Carnival that you don't necessarily... You're never going to get that in a land-based trip because people rotate out.
Yeah.
But, it just... Are you going to get free sodas on Carnival? No. Is it that much more to buy the soda package if that's a big deal? Not really.
Yeah.
It's like $5 more a day.
Because if you found a 5-nighter on Royal and it was, let's just say $2,000 for your cabin, but that 5-nighter on a Disney Cruise Line is going to be $3,500, you can buy the soda package on the Royal.
Yes.
That's fine. Or Carnival, whatever, right? Like, I mean, and that's the trade-off, of course, right? And I mean, and Disney Cruise Line, they're not cheap, and by no stretch of the imagination are they cheap. And does the price, is that value there for the price? I mean, for me, it felt like it was, but I also do a military rate, and I'm not paying full price. And if I was paying full price, it might be different, But I also might be living in a bigger house if I was paying full price. So there's, it's a different class almost, it's like it's a trip. But our last sailing, the one in the Disney Wish, we had so many travel agents. Whatever it was, there was a lot of travel agents on that cruise. And that was a discussion in our group, our Facebook group, it just seemed like there was a ton of TAs, and which was good. And we've kind of stayed in touch since, and I think that's the other thing, and like you pointed out too, even meeting, mi esposa, your esposa, on a cruise ship, is that you meet people, you make friends, you bond, like you just kind of click or whatever. And the Facebook groups on sailing dates and stuff, that's really cool just to get in there. And you kind of, I mean, there might be 10% of the people in that cruise ship might be in that Facebook group, but you might meet some people and meet up with them once you get on board too. And I think that's a really cool thing. You're not doing that a lot going to other places, I don't think. I mean, I've never tried or seen it.
No, you're not doing that. If you book a Disney World trip, you're not getting to know. You might get to know maybe a family while waiting in line, and you might chat or stuff. But in general, people aren't talking at Disney World with strangers. Like
standing in line for 2 hours together, not speaking. You're like,
yeah. So, but on a cruise ship, you go to the pool, you hang out, you sit, and suddenly you look over at your neighbor like, "Hey, what are you reading?" And you bond over just a random book.
What are you reading? What should you be reading?
Right
That's
I
the
know
question.
what you should be reading.
I know exactly what you should be reading. But yeah, and that I saw that too though. There's people sitting out, man, golly, it's so hard to explain until you do it. It's just one of those things,
Yeah.
Watching some pretty lady sitting on a sunbathing or whatever, but reading a book while we're going across the ocean. Please. Like, it's not much better. Food quality. I think food quality was pretty good on both Disney ships. I don't know the deal with steaks. I felt like they were all roasted, which was kind of weird to me. But I guess that's a thing, and I don't know if I had.
That is not a thing, and I can tell you that there are better steaks out there.
Yeah, I would hope so. Because I was like,
there's better steaks on Disney or on Carnival Cruise Line. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I don't do roasted steak, man. The first time I got that, I was like, what the heck? I don't like that, man. So the rest was chicken and pork chops. I had a really good pork chop, and they're very creative with their desserts. There's a lot of cool stuff, especially on the Wish that I was like, this is right on. But yeah, the steak was lacking. Otherwise, pretty good. Chicken tenders, they're famous for a reason. The ones you get up on, deck 11 or such, those were pretty. The barbecue joint on the Wish, what is that? Mickey's Roundup or something like that. I don't remember the name of it, but the barbecue was pretty legit. I like that. Their brisket was good. The ribs were good. So that was solid. And you could just eat up there the whole time perfectly fine. Like the food's good enough. You're eating basically like theme park food, but it's pretty solid. And you'd be fine, but then you're missing out on some of the stuff. I will say, our first night's meal was in the Marvel themed restaurant, and that was pretty neat. That was fun. That was like perfect level for us, kid centric, everything. When we did the Arendelle, the Frozen night theming, it was okay. It's really long. And then the characters, when they do walk around, the interaction's so brief because it's a big restaurant.
They have a lot of people there too.
Yeah, but it was just it was okay, but it was my son, he liked Frozen when he was younger. He's getting to an age where he could care less, right? So we skipped it on Pirate Night. But that was partially regrettable because then I realized, well, they probably do some pirate stuff, in the restaurant on Pirate Night.
Right.
But I thought, we'll be here again, so it's okay. It's okay to miss. But Pirate Night was really cool. I let him go to the boutique and
and he got full pirated.
Pirate. Yep, and that was a lot of fun. Like everyone that works in there is into it. They make it a whole spectacle, and that's fun for your kid. It's fun for the parent. You're just like, it's like, again, a Disney thing. I feel like with that character. I mean, those cast members in there are working on kids and making them look like princesses or pirates or whatnot. That's their role. Right. But they don't just do your hair. They're going to have a whole scenario going, like almost like a performance. And that's partially what you're paying for. And that's, to me, part of the fun. It's like,
it is.
You're like, should I spend $100 or $150 on this or whatever? It's like, it seems like such a waste. But for your child and for the experience, it's not a waste, man. It's such a core memory. And I wish more people would get that too. I mean, I guess some of us do. but not everybody grasped it, But like, yeah, that was really cool. I went also to the Hook Barbery, and
okay, yeah, you got yourself a shave.
Yeah, and that was pretty pricey, but it was nice. That was one of those treat yourself. Women go and get their nails done all the time.
With your shave?
I didn't. I was gonna come back later because they weren't doing the drinks yet. It was like they were gonna do that later. But I would like to experience that too. The smoked bourbon and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. But like getting just that treatment, and also again on a cruise ship, having this whole steamed towel thing and shave and scrubbing in stuff on your beard or whatever. I mean, it felt good. I walked out of there like, I bet I look freaking good, man. I'm probably I'm gonna leave here wifed up if I'm not careful. So it didn't happen though.
I don't doubt that did not happen.
We would have heard by now. Maybe, maybe
all
not.
love and everything, but I
Yeah, then I would have a story to tell. But yeah, so that didn't happen. But it was nice. It was really nice. And then every time you walk by it, you wave, and they're like, "Hey," you're part of a little clique now, part of the Hooked Barbary club, whatever. But yeah, it's just nice. And actually, as a matter of fact, I was sitting there when I was getting my stuff done. The guy next to me, he was about done, and his wife and 2 kids came, and they were standing at the door just like staring. And he was like, I guess it's back to reality. And I chuckled. I was like, well, it's not my reality. It's like but you're in there for like your good hour, and it's an escape from everything. And kind of like case in point, going on a cruise without kids, it's probably nice. And if going
on a cruise period is an escape from reality for a few days.
Yeah. Then you wake up and that's just back and forth.
It's the only place where I can completely tune out the real world for a few days.
Yeah.
I can, and it's my zen, it's my peace. I'm like, the phone gets turned off, and I just disappear into spending time with my family, spending time on myself, spending time with my wife, and just escaping and relaxing and reconnecting. And that's something that you don't get anywhere else.
Yeah, it's wickedly regrettable when you buy the Wi-Fi package and then you realize, like, you open social media, you're like, what did I just do? Throw that down. Don't do it, Like, I can get it if you need it, or if you're like a creator and you want to post things or whatever while you're out there. But if you don't need it, man, just don't get it. It's like, just leave it alone. Because some things work anyway. Like iMessage works, just a text, or WhatsApp works. And there's maybe a couple of others, I'm sure, that will work on the basic, like Disney's basic Wi-Fi. You'll have some of that, which I thought was pretty cool. But otherwise, yeah, just like take the disconnect. You don't get it very often, so why not? Port. So when we got off at Nassau, I left my my little Disney, our ship card or whatever.
Okay. You left it on the ship?
And my passport on the ship, right. So I immediately, we walked a ways, and I thought, but I had my wallet, which has an ID, and then my military, retiree ID. And I thought, well, maybe that's okay, but I didn't want to risk it. So we literally walked in and Nassau, turned around and walked back through, like the little security point. And I asked him, was that okay? And she was like, yeah, no, it's fine. And I was like, all right, we're going to go back to the ship anyway. So we were in Nassau for like 5 minutes, man, and walked back. It was just so crowded. There was stuff that I wanted to see and do, but at the same time, there was like 5 other ships ported already, a big Fat Royal, a couple of Carnival, and then us, on the Wish. And I just like, that's like 15,000 people probably, yeah, like that's crazy.
Like 25,000 people
coming in, dude. Like I'd love to see a time lapse of watching people come off those ships and going wherever they're going. It's got to be kind of fascinating. But it's like ants going to some sugar over here and then just leaving again. It's amazing.
Yeah.
or even power
the
surge.
the sugar is the booze right there, right outside the port.
Yeah.
Senor Frogs. That's the sugar everybody's migrating to. Senor Frogs to get their boozed up because it's cheaper in Senor Frogs than it is on the ships.
Oh, yeah. That's why we need to do a cruise badly without kids, and that'll happen. But so that was Nassau for us.
Don't tempt me. I'm going to go on and book it right now and send you the link to pay your deposit. We're going in 2 months. Come on,
let's talk dates, man. I know. I'm like, can I fly Hunter home by himself in July? Can someone watch Hunter for me in Florida? But it's like just 3 days, buddy. We'll be right back. It's very appealing, but again, so one of those things too. So like if you're with your children, and also I think depending on their age, like when we went to Cozumel when we did our magic sailing, it was okay, like where we ported or whatever, there was Margaritaville was over here, and then Senor Frogs right there on the left, I guess.
Yeah.
Or was it, I don't know, something like that. But both of them are playing like booty dropping music.
It's been a minute since I've been to Cozumel has 2 different ports that the ships come into. Last 2 times I've been at the other port where there's not the.
I kind of wished we were going to that one, but it was a change. We were supposed to go to Progreso, but because of some weather issues, we ended up going to Cozumel. Maybe that's why they didn't get the port they normally would, because we seemed like we docked at the party port, and it was okay, like it was cool. We walked around for a while, bought some stuff. Every 5 shops is the same shop. I felt like people were just the workers are running behind them and coming out again, so they could be like, "Hey, over here! Hey, over here!" It's just like very repetitive, But like you have to leave that area, and I get that, And we did for a little bit. We walked across the street, went to the shops over there. Hardly anybody over there. I bought my amoxicillin for no reason, just because I could. And then we walked around a little bit more and headed back. We didn't get very far. I looked at it on a map, and I'm like, we barely went anywhere. But what was okay is like you can go back to that ship and really enjoy it, because if there's a lot of people off the ship at the time, everything's a little bit easier to do. And so that was nice. And so for like, if you have a young child, I think sitting on the ship in port, there's nothing wrong with it whatsoever, because they get to enjoy the amenities of that ship, and it probably really depends on your port too, right?
I think your son's at that age where you need to start looking at excursions when you're in ports, because I think that's when you're going to get more out of the day as opposed to walking around the streets.
Yeah, for sure. And that was, when we went there, we had a dolphin excursion originally planned, but storms blew in literally right when we ported in. I might have sent you a photo, I don't remember, but it was like everything was beautiful, serene. I was like, this is gonna be a great day. And then like right away. And we were about to walk off the ship when I got the message saying that our excursion had been canceled. And so that was a tough moment. And, I have a son on the spectrum. And so sometimes working through those things takes a real challenge. And so that set us back for, a good 45 minutes to an hour, but you take a break. And that's the plus of having the cabin. You go back there and you can sit down, you can chill out, and take that break for a bit. When you're ready to reconvene, we go reconvene. It's not taking any sweat off my back, because I'm just going to go sit out here on this balcony and stare at people out and, having a good time in Cozumel. And, so it's like, but I think that's the fabric. Like that's such the bonus of that, is that you can do those kind of things, and it's so relaxing.
Yes. And unlike a Disney World, where if you're trying to go back to your room or your what have you, you got to wait on transportation. You got to walk through all the crowds to leave the park or anything, depending on where you are. It could take you up to an hour to 2 hours to get back to your room just to chill for a minute.
And if you're in an escalated situation with your child or your spouse or whomever, it's like, man, by the time you get to that room, someone might not even be alive at that point. It's hard to say. It's just it could really ruin your day.
I don't think you're going to get to that level.
So you're still at the magical place on Earth. Maybe you can make them disappear. Who's to say? Or you disappear.
No comment.
what happens at Disney stays at Disney. Well, but it's just the flip side. It's like going to Disney World or Universal. They're just different vacations. I think doing something like a theme park like Disney or Universal, it just takes more planning, and you need to be a little bit more intentional with your planning, and have some contingency plans for when things change, because they will.
Right.
That's why I'm not such a perfectionist planner. Like, if someone books with me, I'm not going to give you an itinerary that starts at 8 in the morning and goes till 9 p.m. of this is what you're going to be doing, because I think that's setting people up. You're giving them expectations that it's going to flow this way, and it's not. Like, it's just not. Unless you you could get to that ride at 8:30, but you might stand in line for 15 minutes or maybe an hour. I don't know. And then there's pressure building, of like, we got to get to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at this time. If we don't get there, then we're off on our itinerary. Who cares, man? Throw that out the window. Enjoy your time. It's the only way to do it. Yeah. And whether you want to spend a lot of money on lightning lanes, and that's the other thing too. To get through some of those lines, you got to spend extra money after paying to get into the park. We sound like I'm not trying to dump on it, because I'll still do it, going anyways. But they will. You're going to pay for it if you want to have an efficient day, I suppose.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm not gonna poo-poo going to Disney World or Disneyland, Universal or whatever, but because I was at Walt Disney World on Friday, hanging out doing Flower and Garden Festival.
Nice,
awesome time. Got some good food, got some okay food. But it is not for me. Going to the parks is not a vacation like a cruise is.
Yeah, or maybe hopping on a plane and flying somewhere necessarily too. And that's. I mean, that can be a negative, I think, sometimes. But I guess the idea of theme park is also a little bit of just energy flowing. Like you're kind of going. If you want to relax, you can, but you're going to be sitting at your resort probably. And hopefully at the right kind of resort too, where you can relax. But that's hard to do depending on your time. You come from another out of state or whatever, and you're limited on time, and it's just day after day going to the parks and not really any resort chill out time, which then comes into play which resort you stay at, because it's like, if you're just going to be in the parks, you might as well stay at a value resort. If you want to stay at a deluxe and you want to book with me at a deluxe and then stay in the parks, it's perfectly fine. But I really recommend to most people. I'm just like, man, save your money. It's like, I don't know. I'll be really honest, and it won't do me any favors as a travel agent. But when I stayed at Contemporary before versus staying at like Caribbean Beach or Coronado or Art of Animation, the difference in the rooms is so minuscule to me that it hardly matters. The property matters. I think the differences in those properties is enormous, and the location, of course. And, do you have restaurants in your resorts? Very different, but.
Well, I think location matters more so from the transportation aspect. Like, if you're staying at Art of Animation, you have to rely on buses or the Skyliner to get you to Epcot or Hollywood Studios, and those buses take a long time. But if you're staying at Polynesian, you can get to Magic Kingdom by just getting on the monorail or a boat, and it's like you're not having to go through multiple steps to get to Magic Kingdom. Now, if you're staying at Polynesian and going to Animal Kingdom, you still have to deal with the buses and all that, and it's a pain in the butt. So it kind of comes down to what you're looking for.
We pay for convenience, and but for like, if you're looking for, I think a luxurious, upper end Hilton kind of hotel or resort, I just don't think you get it really, But the new Poly Tower looks really nice. I saw that they also. Yeah. Have you gone?
I've eaten there.
Okay. Do tell.
Currently, best burger on Disney property is at that Polynesian Tower.
Wow.
Recently when it opened, it overtook the burger at Contemporary.
Wow.
So, you heard
And
it
then
here
we-
first.
Yeah.
Best burger on property.
And so the burger at Contemporary, I assume, would be in Steakhouse 71.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
now the second place burger on property. Still fabulous burger, but
Do you remember the name of the restaurant at the Poly Tower?
it's like a bar and grill. I can't recall the name right offhand. It's a sweet and spicy burger, so it's got a little bit of sweet and it's got a lot of heat, like a volcano, I think they call it volcano burger or something like that.
Nice.
Oh, it is delicious.
I'm because I'm just the way I am, I'm gonna try to look it up real quick. Ooh. Of course, it's like enable Google Maps and all kinds of stuff. That's a difference too. I would say, like, when you're in the parks, the Disney parks, you're using this a lot to find your way around and to book things and whatnot. On the cruise, like, you're going to use it some. You don't have to, but you're going to use it some to know like when things are happening necessarily. But you're not really worried about booking anything. And you know, there's things you could book, but not many. You know, a lot of this with the Disney Cruise Line is going to happen in advance, and otherwise you could leave this in your cabin. You know, and especially if you have a Magic Band, you can pay for all your stuff that way. I like that. I do. Carrying this around, like the Disney parks have helped the portable batteries for phones, the portable chargers. They've helped that industry grow because like people need it. You have to take one with you if you want to get through the day with your phone, you know, because like you will be on it.
Just turning on the Disney app will drain your battery.
Yeah, like and who knows how much data they're taking from me too. They're like, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? If I start getting ads later to get into like the lightning lane at Haunted Mansion, I'll know. I recently discovered, totally off the rails, but your smart TVs, they've all had this little, you know, hidden secret in there to help sell your information, collect your data, and send it to third-party vendors or whatever. And I saw this random video that I thought was crap, and then I go and look at it, and I was like, son of a... But you can turn it off. You just have to go through some of your settings, but you can turn it off. But yeah, that, you know, it made sense. And so the conversations you have in front of your television, that's why they know you. They sell you what they sell you. They're listening.
Right. That's why my TV I got like 20 years ago, and it's still kicking ass.
Smart for you. Yeah, that's smart for you. I have a couple of addictions, and one is you know, new televisions and going to theme parks named Disney and whatnot. And now 3D printing. That's a new addiction. So latest vice. So if anyone's looking for some kind of disturbed looking... I
will be looking you up for that.
Well, not me. Working through my lawyer named ChatGPT, trying to figure out what kind of like IP-ish stuff I can print off without getting sued.
Stay away from that shit, man. Just stay away. That's no
Deadpool. Good. His name is a live pool. What are you talking about?
Just stay away from any of that AI crap. You don't need it.
I gotcha. Like using ChatGPT as my doctor.
Yeah, no, don't. Just stay away.
Yeah,
it's nothing but trouble.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's kind of there's some spookiness in there about how many things, like you can't go to a website now without this AI assistant bot trying to solve all your problems for you on that website, and I'm just like, person. I want to talk to a person, you know. And then when you finally can talk to that human, they solve your issue in like 5 seconds, you know. But the chat bot is it's configured so small that it can't do anything outside of these basic parameters, you know. But I also don't want a self-driving car. I trust myself a little bit more. I've seen enough videos of a certain brand of car driving through train tracks or something before a train hits to know I'm okay. There's humans that are really bad drivers. I'm not a bad driver, you know, but until everybody is on full self-driving capabilities or something on the freeway, I just assume handle my own business, you know. Because one day it also might just change on us and tell us, like, you're like, hey, punch it in and I'm going to Magic Kingdom today. And it's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Like, wait a minute. Well, don't do this to me, chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can be frightening. So Anyway,
just stay away from all of that.
yeah. Especially don't use it to assist you with homework if you're in a school. Don't do that, kids.
Don't touch it. just don't touch it.
Yeah. Well, it's a threat to both of us have our own kind of talents that we enjoy doing. And like one of mine that I mess with sometimes, but it's voice work. And, you know, I'll get offers sent to me in email to help try to train AI voice stuff, you know, and they'll offer you good money, you know, like $5,000 or something like that to do, record 30 minutes a day, every other day for like a month. Right. And just do this conversational stuff. And I'll read through it and I'll just think like, you son of a bitch. Like, I don't want to, why would you train your replacement? You know?
It's not just training your replacement. It's just if you're doing stuff like that, you're training the replacement for anybody in your field.
Right. Yeah.
And you're allowing these giant corporations to increase their bottom line while not paying anybody. Like,
yeah,
come on. Man.
Yeah, they already don't pay well enough for most things, and they'll just
support the artists. Support the artists who do the work.
Big one, and you know, maybe someday there will be some legislation to support that, but probably not anytime soon. So, you know, so in the meantime, to avoid all of that, just go on a cruise, and you'll be perfectly fine. Put all your woes away. You know, go on a cruise, particularly if you're going to book with JD or myself. That's the way to go. And then you won't have to worry about AI ruining your life because you'll be on a cruise. And maybe if you're lucky enough, things will go awry while you're out on the cruise and you'll just be stuck living on the cruise ship for the rest of your life. You'll become pirates where maybe you have to get into some ports every now and then to get some more sustenance and whatnot. But, you know, for the most part, everything will be fine. What else do you need besides living in a cabin? Having restaurants.
I don't have my pirate hat up here with me.
Yeah, I don't. My pirate stuff somewhere.
I was gonna randomly put my pirate hat on just because it's not up here with me.
I love the fact that, like on the Disney Cruise Line when they have Pirate Night, I think to myself, you know, there's almost not a better corporation to celebrate pirates than Disney. It's just fun. Now, I voluntarily give you my money, Disney, you know, but it's just kind of like a fun thing that I'm like, yeah, they're celebrating pirates, you know, it's, they take that gold right from you. Makes sense.
Yes.
But it's fun.
Mickey is the lead pirate on that excursion.
Yeah, I'm dipping in your pockets. So they, on our Magic Cruise, we did Marvel. So we had our Marvel night, which was really cool, you know. Yeah, and that was a really cool show. You know, all your modern Marvel characters participate. Even Red Skull made an appearance, and that was a surprise to me. I'd seen videos of a little bit of Marvel Day at Sea plus their production, but didn't realize like Red Skull pops up. So that was cool, you know.
The last time we went on a Disney cruise was the Marvel Day at Sea as well.
Yeah,
and that was that cruise was like 2 months before the world shut down for COVID. So
yikes.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. We have to do it again, but it's fun. And I liked that day, those cast members, they're actors, they're stunt actors, they're walking around. It's the same folks, you know, walking around, talking to your child or whatnot. Like we got to hang out with Black Widow for a while. And yeah, I almost fell in love. It's fine. But she was super cool. And like her time just talking with Hunter, like for at least 10 minutes, you know, just walking and talking with them and stuff. There's a gaggle of kids walking behind us all jealous, you know, and I was like, yeah. But that's also another thing that I think with Disney, I don't know if you get anywhere else, is just like, I feel like a lot of cast members, I'm going to assume, are trained or at least emotionally empathetic enough to recognize sometimes, you know, an autistic child or any special needs child that they'll give a little bit more attention to, you know, and that goes a long way. Like that's huge for a parent with special needs children. Like that's huge. And so, yeah, I don't know if you get that anywhere else.
I will say, several other cruise lines have really adopted some autism awareness training into their curriculum for training up their like kids club staff members and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not necessarily like trained on every crew member of the ship, but the ones who interact with the kids on a frequent basis on most cruise lines now have that specialized training to be able to handle a spectrum of abilities.
Yeah. Do they ever dress up like characters that the children love?
So different cruise lines have IP for different. No, I'm serious. Carnival has the Dr. Seuss characters. They have the Cat in the Hat.
Oh.
They have Thing 1, Thing 2. They've got the Grinch that comes out during the holidays. MSC has Lego. They are licensed.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that's cool.
And so, like the characters from the Lego movie, they got Lego Batman that comes out. I'm trying to. I know Royal Caribbean's got somebody. I can't recall right offhand who it is. But they all have some level of interaction for those kids. So you're still going to get some character moments. Are they Mickey Mouse and Iron Man? No. But, you still got some.
Yeah. Hunter was wearing a, oh God, how am I going to draw a blank? His favorite character right now. Jesus. I'll probably edit this out, I swear. Spider-Man, not Xenomorph, but Venom. Thank you. Yeah, so it would click somewhere. But he was wearing this cool Venom mask, and so we walked in to meet Spider-Man. That was just one of those things that I loved. Is that cast member knows everything there is about Spider-Man, so we acted freaked out, and he's like, "Whoa, man," And then they talk and just go through the whole thing, But it's that stuff for me that just I don't know. I dig so much, and I'm I can't imagine, But that's also cool to know with MSC, the Lego thing, that's really rad, and they cruise out of so many places now. They have a great ship that cruises out of Galveston.
Yes.
And I guess that's kind of Universal's product a little bit, not Lego, but on Carnival that you were saying, that's those are Universal IP guys, aren't they? Yeah.
Well, no, Universal licensed that IP from Dr. Seuss themselves.
So in the parks, that's where they get. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't have any rights there beyond that.
No, just the same as they've licensed the Marvel characters. Marvel is not a Universal property, but yet there's a Marvel Land Universal in Orlando.
Yeah, that'd be nice if that was to change some, but I don't know. I love that area. That area is really cool. The characters, I guess they're OG characters more than the souped up looking kind that we've got from Disney Marvel, right? But it's just kind of we've come to expect this now, I guess, and that's the hard part when you get OG Wolverine versus modern Marvel Wolverine. It's it's a little bit of a difference, I guess. But still really cool. But that area of Islands of Adventure though is what's really cool to me though, is being immersed into a comic book laden area.
Full comic book.
Yeah, you can spend. We'll have to do another one maybe where we start talking about our theme park ratings or something. I don't know, but I start in Universal for me. It's both Wizarding World lands. I love all three, but then for Islands of Adventure, right there is behind it is just that Marvel area. It's right behind those for me as far as anything at Universal goes. But of course, I haven't got to ride the Velocicoaster yet. Maybe someday.
Come on down, let's go.
It's just put that child, I got to put him in a little basket for a little bit, You're just going to wait right here. Daddy will be right back. I would never, just to clarify. Yeah. But it's, all that stuff's rad. So, other than that, man, when's your next cruise? Do you have anything on the books?
This is actually a rare moment in time that I currently do not have a cruise on my calendar, which is very unfortunate. I've got 5 I've got 5 that I'm looking at very seriously right now. So
Mhm.
it won't be long till I have one on the books.
Okay.
Um,
Which
Definitely
cruise
looking at.
line?
I've got Virgin. I'm definitely going to go back on Virgin again. I've got one more ship to complete the collection. I've been on 3 out of the 4 lady ships, so I have one more to go. That is the only cruise line that I have an opportunity to say that I have cruised on every ship. I will never
Yeah.
make it to every Royal Caribbean or Carnival or Disney ship.
What about
Um,
Margaritaville? Have you done all of those yet?
yes, and I may be going on the new one again. That's scheduled to set sail early 2027. Um, so that one I might be able to check all those boxes as well.
So
But I'm more
that's amazing.
I'm more excited about checking all the blocks on the Virgin ships.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see behind me. I've got 1, 2, and 3 squids up here, representing the 3 Virgin ships that I've been on. So only one more to go.
That's awesome. Yeah. So in this quick background, though, it's like JD mentioned earlier, is that, or I said he's an avid cruiser, right? And I think for like 3-4 years at least, you were like, you got to go cruising, you got to go cruising, you got to go cruising. And until I
I
finally
think
did. But yeah.
no, I've known you for over a decade, and that's the
Yeah.
entire time I've been telling you got to go.
Actually, yeah. I mean, going back to our army days, I know that you'd go on cruises, and I always thought it was like this almost fictional fantasy kind of thing. Just seemed. I never thought about going on cruises often, and it's like people who go on cruises. It's like it seems like they're so rare, but there's a lot of people who go on cruises. Like they're constantly turning around, constantly getting full. And there's another really cool thing about cruises, cruise ships in general. Logistically, it's a miracle that they're able to do what they do. Because I tell you what, a U.S. Navy ship coming into port and turning around and leaving a few hours later, fully stocked, fueled, ready to go, cleaned, that didn't happen in Captain. Like, not a chance,
No.
Cruise lines, profit drives it, but they get it done. And it's such a cool, like, that's another thing. If you can sit on your veranda and watch the cruise operations happening, the dock operation happening, that's fun to watch. Like when we pulled into Castaway Key, we were on the side where they started unloading everything, all the food and other supplies for that island. And that was just fun to watch. I got up, walked outside, and I was like standing in my underwear looking down going, oh crap, there's a lot of people down there. It's like, go put on clothes.
Just yesterday, I was out at Port Canaveral having lunch at there's a little tiki bar that I'll have lunch at on occasion. And yesterday, I was sitting out on their back patio with a view right down the way of all the port operations for the Celebrity Excel getting ready to go out on the voyage. So
Nice.
I was just eating my burger, watching everything go down, and then by the time I was done with my food, that ship was leaving, and like 5 other ships that were all docked in Port Canaveral were sailing out to start their vacation, and I was left ashore. Unfortunately,
disappointed. And just, it's like me when I watch airplanes fly overhead. I always think like, where are they going? I'd love to be on that airplane. And you're sitting here watching ships go and pouting, and I'd love to be on that ship.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's great. What a fantastic option for a vacation. And it's just keep growing, which is almost amazing that it just continues to grow. I mean, Royal's going to have another giant ass ship coming out next year, I guess, which is replacing Icon, I assume, in Florida, that new ship.
Well, yeah, Icon's moving over to Galveston, and then the new Hero of the Seas.
I think so, something like that. Yeah, Hero of the Seas, Pocket Your Money of the Seas, whatever. But
Legend of the Seas is coming later this year.
Okay, and maybe it's Hero of the Seas that's after that one, maybe?
Yeah, Hero of the Seas is after that.
Okay, yeah, and those are all going to be their gargantuan sized ships, I guess. But I've seen that they're apparently going to build a couple of smaller ships again. Um, which that's the other thing too. Okay, but I guess we'll wrap it up. But like ship size, going on the Magic, the OG, small, quaint. For me, it was just right. I did feel like because we went through the Gulf of Mexico and there was like a cold front that blew through the entire Gulf. We had some pretty choppy seas, particularly coming back. It didn't bother me, and it wasn't like a TikTok where people were flopping around and things were falling. Like that never happened, but you'd feel it rocking some in the cabin really at night, a little squeaky, and that's probably a little bit of her age or whatever. But on the Wish, much larger ship, busier, more crowded, but there's also enough room for people to spread out, I felt like too. But I kind of preferred the Magic, at the end of the day. Like I thought it was just more naval, like, you really feel like you're on a cruise ship. And it makes me wonder about like if I went on to one of the really large like royal ships, it's like I feel like I'm at a resort that's on the sea. You potentially would not even see the ocean the whole time if you're just always inside of that ship, and not even know you're on a ship for the most part. And but your list of entertainment will never end, like you could just do stuff nonstop. And I think that's what a lot of people are going for. But I think for me, I kind of preferred that smaller ship over the Wish class. So we'll see. I'd like to sell in the Fantasy, the Wonder, at some point, probably the Fantasy, the Dream. I guess those were the second generation, right? And then before the Wish class. So, but I've heard a lot of people love those, and I guess they're a little bit more mid-size than they're in between the Wish class and the, I don't know what the Magic class was called, the Titan class or Triton class. I don't know. I think the Wish class is technically the Triton class, right?
No, I think it's just the Wish class. I think that
okay.
A lot of cruise lines, like the Icon class, starts with the Icon. The Wish class started with Disney Wish. It's just that's just the way that they go.
It's easier. Yeah. It's easier, but it's but for me that was better. But what about you? Like, what do you prefer? Do you like more of a quaint ship, or it just depends on what you're going for?
So I will tell all the ladies that size does matter, especially when it comes to for cruise ships, at least. In my opinion, size matters on a cruise ship, and there's not a wrong answer as to what size fits somebody. Because somebody who's looking for all of the entertainment, all of the different activities, is looking for a roller coaster at sea or, water park at sea or, anything like that. There are ships out there for you. Like the Icon class has immense amount of options and activities for somebody to do. They're great. If you're looking for something smaller, something more intimate, then a smaller ship is going to give you what you're looking for. And so there's not a one size fits all, but there's a size that fits everyone.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, on Carnival, there's the Vista class of ships is my ideal size of ship for Carnival. Their new Mardi Gras and Celebration, those ships are too big for me for Carnival. I like the little bit smaller, not their older, really smaller ships, but the Vista class. Royal Caribbean, I'm not a fan of the Oasis or the Icon class, those big giant ships. Those are not for me. Those are just too much. They feel more like a strip mall on sea as opposed to a cruise ship. But they have some smaller ships that fit me as my preference. The Virgin ships are all fantastic. Again, they're basically all for the same ship.
Well proportioned. Yeah.
Yes, those are all good ships. MSC, their newest ship is in the same vein as the Icon class for Royal Caribbean. Is giant, but like they're seashore, they're seaside. Those are good sized ships, and those fit me pretty well.
Yeah.
So but it depends on what you, the traveler, are looking for out of your trip.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I would think for a family with younger children, I would imagine getting on the Oasis or Icon class ships, they would be fine with those, because I know the family area on those ships is huge, and they have a water park, and you can stay in that neighborhood exclusively, and so I think that's pretty ideal for folks. I think if you're like a couple who's wanting a romantic getaway, going on one of the giant ships probably isn't the best, but it's hard to say. Like, again, it depends on what people are looking for,
Right.
But I would think if you want like quiet, romantic, you want a smaller, quaint ship, And
I will say, this about the Royal Caribbean ships, that they get really good, is that there's something on their ship for everybody. If you're bringing, say, a multi-generational family, you've got grandma and grandpa, you got parents, you got teenagers and younger kids. There is something on those ships for every demographic that you're traveling with. If you got grandpa that wants to go down the water slides, there's that. If grandma wants to just lounge by the pool and read a book, there's that. If dad and the teenagers want to go try surfing on the wave simulator, they got that, or rock climbing, or whatever. There's a little of everything for everybody.
A slide from one of the top decks down toward the bottom, it's crazy.
Absolutely.
But it's and I mean, I do hear their kids clubs are amazing. People rave about them. So I don't think you can go wrong. They're probably leading the way, outside of Disney, because I love the kids club for Disney. I mean, it was amazing, and the staff was great and everything. But again, going back to the Wish size, it was a lot busier. Sometimes you're waiting 15 minutes to grab your kid. Versus the Magic was like pretty much walk up and you can grab them. But Hunter liked the kids clubs on the Wish more so than he did the Magic, and there was a difference. I think a little bigger for one, but on the Wish they had the Star Wars space area, on the Wish, and they didn't have the Magic. They did have Heroes Academy on both, but the one on Wish was bigger. But but again, being preferential to like a lot of Disney stuff as it is, I just see that and go like, wow, I got to get a taste of Royal, and I need a taste of Virgin, sure, and then can make a little bit more of a educated, opinion, formed opinion. Educate yourself.
Well, after we end this podcast, let's you and I talk about where we're cruising to.
Yeah,
we have to get it on the books.
We really have to, because there's some things we can definitely take advantage of, while the time is right. And if you would like to take advantage of boop or boop, one of the two, maybe a split thing. I don't know how that works, but it's a good way to go. It really is.
Yes, 100%. And in my opinion, there is no such thing as a bad cruise. Even on cruises that were not the best, I still had a great time, and I still found things that I would rave about them.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, and you're the kind of guy too that I think you can turn a little bit of a rougher time for other people into a pretty good time, and that's sometimes it's personality driven. Sometimes people can take a good time and turn it into a really bad time, but knowing JD the way I do, you can usually find some gold in a pile of shit. So,
any day on a cruise ship is better than a great day at the office.
Yeah, 100%. And if you can make that your office, is even better. Apparently, I don't know if this was true or not. And I don't know if you sent me or who did, but there was a story that a guy was working remote for some company, and he had been living essentially on a cruise ship for like several months doing his remote work. And they finally found out and they fired him for whatever reason, because he was supposed to be like home based or something like that, but he had gone like a good 4 to 6 months, I guess, working remotely out of a cruise. And I'm like, worth it. Even if he lost his job, worth it. But again, I don't even know if that story was true, but someone sent it to me and I thought like, I could see it. I could definitely see it, but you'd pay a lot for Wi-Fi. That's for sure.
Well, so Virgin actually had. I don't know if they have it for this summer. I haven't seen it. But last summer they had a special package to work for it was like a summer long season pass for their ship.
Wow. Yeah.
And it included the upgraded Wi-Fi, included a lot, and you could jump from ship to ship as you wish. Like if you
That's
could
cool.
spend a week on Scarlet Lady and then jump over to Resilient Lady, and your season pass included all of it for the whole summer. And it was
pretty awesome.
marketed to those nomad workers.
It would be cool to see more of the cruise lines adopt that. Just it's not a huge customer base, but just to have that option for some people, because that's the other thing. If they're nomads and they're particularly like, traveling nomads, they're probably putting out content about where they're at and what they're doing. And so that only benefits the cruise line through advertising for them for free. That's why I know like Disney will never get rid of vloggers and streamers from the parks. There's free advertising for them as long as it's a positive. If it really got out of control, it'd be one thing. But out of all the trips I've ever been, I've never seen a single person walking around with their phone on a gimbal. But I see people complain about it. But I just think like it's got to be a one-off, man. I don't know. And if I do see somebody, I don't know what they're doing. They could be FaceTiming with their grandma, and who cares? It's like if they're not doing anything to hurt you or something, it's like it's free. Because I watch some of that stuff, and that's where I get my information from sometimes, and it can be really beneficial. Just like if someone watched this podcast, maybe they learned some stuff about cruising, and they're like, "Man, I'm going to contact that JD dude and go on a Virgin voyage," and they got that information from our discussion. So I don't know. I can't imagine that stuff ever being frowned upon. Not that that's neither here nor there, but it's there. So anyway, dude, thanks for hanging out, and we'll definitely do another one soon. And maybe we'll talk about some theme park rating stuff or whatever, see where it goes.
Thanks for listening to this episode. It's sponsored by the following illustrious sponsor, Wandering with Jason Kucera. If you're thinking about taking that trip, contact me to help you plan it out and book it. There are so many great deals on travel right now, and I can get you to anywhere you'd like to go. Disney World, Disneyland, Universal Orlando, Mexico, go on a cruise, go to South America, maybe take a trip to Antarctica. Who's to say? Email me at jasonk@wanderkeep.com or hit me up on the socials. If you're interested in being a guest on the show, email me at anotherpodcast@gmail.com or get hold of me any way you know how. I'd like to share your story.